Graham Bishop, welcome to the programme. There have been an awful lot of heated words written as this crisis has developed back in the 1990s. Should you have seen all of this coming?
There was always a risk, of course, but the plans which were embodied in the Maastricht Treaty for sound public finance and looking to a certain extent at the competitiveness of countries, had those requirements been met and fulfilled, this should not have happened. But the fact is that a number of countries just ignored the rules, and we all know what's now happened.
Right, I mean, they didn't just ignore the rules, did they? I mean, you could argue it was inevitable that even if things were on a level playing field in whenever, 2000 or 2002, that by the time we got 10 years down the line, inequalities would have emerged.
No, I don't think it was inevitable. If the countries with budget deficits had kept them low, then there would not have been a need for the sort of measures which have happened. But the other problem, of course, is that what we didn't foresee was that the US would export its subprime mortgages on such a scale and create such a financial problem that the government would need to step in. And don't forget, the debt ratios, the percentage of GDP just after the euro came into existence, were just over 60%, and now they're nearly 90%. Of which half is just due straight to the financial crisis, which the beginning of that was in America.
Yes, that's true. The financial crisis came along and we couldn't necessarily predicted that, but many people did indeed predict, I believe. I mean, I'm referring back to the 1990s and the Eurosceptics. I remember them saying this, that the single currency could never work without political union. Monetary union required political union, and it's something that everyone is now calling for, but it seems a little late.
Well, what does one mean by political union? It's easy to say what monetary union is. Somebody has to control the production of banknotes and coins and that sort of thing. Political union is a very different matter. There is already a lot of political union, and there was at the time, through the European Commission, the European Court of Justice, the European Parliament and so on. There was already a great deal of common agreement on laws, much content of political union. But to go further and say that countries were going to give up their fiscal sovereignty and agree common tax policies, that wasn't on then, and it isn't now. There will be, and there is, a much greater push to make sure that states do in fact conduct their economies in a way which doesn't spill over onto their neighbours, but that wasn't necessary at the time.
Okay, well, very briefly, will Europe come out of this surviving, or will the Eurozone not survive?
Oh, I'm sure it will survive. The measures being taken boost competitiveness in a way that Mrs. Thatcher's government in Britain did 30 years ago. And after a short while, there was a dramatic improvement in competitiveness. That could happen in Europe.
Is going to come out stronger?
Oh, yes.